Good morning, everybody. I hope that quarantine is not such a bad thing. I know we're all stuck at home, but there are always good things about getting stuck at home. I can tell you for me, I don't have to travel 20 different places on any given day. It's kind of nice to slow down, I will say. So I am enjoying that. My daughter and I are getting out and doing some walks. So there are definitely good things about quarantine. But we also have to move forward in life, so I thought I would continue sharing some, informational, helpful tidbits on divorce. And today I thought I would talk about community property versus separate property. So it seems like a simple concept, but it actually has some complexity to it. So we live in California. We are a community property state. In a divorce, you are dividing all your community property. So community property is anything that is acquired between the date of marriage and the date of separation. So things that are easy to understand would be you bought a house together, that's community property. You bought a car, that's community property. Any furniture in your house, that's community property. Things like gifts or inheritance are separate property as long as you kept it separate. So for example, Granny Sue died and left you $100,000. As long as you left that $100,000 in an account in your name, it is separate property and not up for division. If you moved that money to your joint account with your spouse, now you've commingled it, and now it is community property. You can argue that that $100,000 is separate property as long as you can trace the money back and prove it, but the burden of proof will be on you. Things that get more complicated would be, well, hold on. So the last part that I wanted to talk about is that some assets have community property and separate property. So let's talk about a 401k, for example. You got a job 1 month after you got married. You've had the job the entire time you were married. You've been contributing to your 401k plan. That 401k plan is community property. It is up for division. Now, let's say, different scenario, you had the job 5 years before you got married, and then had the same job all through the marriage. The 5 years prior to marriage, there is 5 years of separate property in that 401k plan, and the rest would be community property. So there are some assets in which it can be both. Another example would be if you came into the marriage with a house. Well, your time owning that house prior to marriage would be separate property. And the time you've had it during marriage is community property. So it's a little bit more complicated than it sounds, depending. So if you all have questions about whether an asset is community property or separate property, or if you need help in determining the value of the separate property or community property, then feel free to reach out to me. I am happy to help in this regard. I always offer a 1-hour free consultation. So in this time of quarantine, I can do a Zoom meeting. So we are still moving forward. We are still working. Nothing's stopping us. So if you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have an awesome day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much.